We acknowledge the Kaurna people as the traditional custodians of the Adelaide region and their spiritual relationship with their country. We pay respect to elders past, present and emerging, and extend that respect to all First Nations people and their connections to the land. Always was, always will be.
All right. Kia ora, fams. Welcome to episode 3 of the Three Wise Cousins, your favorite brown folk from the 5K.
The only brown folk 5K.
As you can see, I've got my two co-hosts here. Brother Aki, how you doing, my
Yeah,
guy?
bro, I'm doing all good. Thank you. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. What we got on for today?
Today we're going to be focusing for rapid fire, something that is very, very important in all of our cultures, and it is being able to talk without talking, and that will be eyelingual. We'll get into that.
Oh, a little
Yeah.
spicy. Yeah, okay,
Ye-
cool. All right, and sis, Rini, how you doing, sis?
I'm good. I'm alive and well.
Yeah,
Yep,
nice.
You'd hope so.
Trying to be.
Yeah, trying.
It's the thought that counts.
What you got for us today, sis?
So yeah, gonna get into some brown talk and basically just talk about taboos and positives of our culture. I think there's a lot,
Oh, that's gonna be a
a
good
lot
one.
of conversation there.
Some heavy-ish.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
What
And
about you,
then
bro?
I'm Dion, and today I'm going to be covering the stew, our dance segment of the podcast. And the prompt is, when does the dancer become the teacher, and what qualifies a dancer to then cross over and become a teacher? So going to be touching on a few different things, and so we'll just kind of see where the vibes are at and where
The
it takes us
brain
today.
is braining. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot
No,
there.
we're locked
but
in
what's
today.
left is going on. Well, I hope that you're feeling ready to, go for it, because eyelingual is something that our household is very familiar with. It is a slang that basically describes when you're saying something with your face. We all do it. It's in our DNA. It's in our DNA. It's in our DNA.
DNA.
And so I think it will be really good to put this to the test. I've got 5 different prompts here, and I'm going to count you down, and we've got to go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, just double check. Are we looking at each other when we do it? Or are we
I
looking at the
reckon-
cameras?
Oh, you know what? We'll go to camera 2.
Okay.
I reckon. Yeah, that
So
was
you
a
might
good
not
one.
hear
Watch me
it, but
just
you'll be
give a
able to see
Zoolander,
it
just-
eventually.
Actually,
No, you stitched me up.
all of us should
Just
do that.
like the.
Everyone huddle in, and then in
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, we all look. All right, got it? Cool,
Okay,
cool,
so
cool.
we go 3,
This
2,
is-
1, and then
Yes, this is rapid fire. All right, number 1. Your close friend outs some very personal information in front of a crowd. Ready? 3, 2, 1. That was my best Rini impersonation for sure.
Oh, for you.
Yeah, okay. We'll do it together. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Am I wrong?
I'm surprised, but
Bro, what did you give? Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
just like the stink face, just
Oh.
like the bravo. What
You're
are you
like
doing?
dodging,
we've
you're
really
dodging
taken-
with that one.
Yeah, it's like that's not me.
Literally. Okay, next one. Ready? You and your ride or die see someone who is very attractive, someone who's fine. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
She's on my phone because I'm in a relationship and I'm in a very healthy relationship. I love you.
Good
man.
answer.
Ah, see? Brownie points.
Yes.
She's like,
Nah, for me, it's what's missing in this picture is my sunglasses.
Oh, yes.
Honestly, because I'd be like this.
It's the eyebrows. It's
Yes.
all in the eyebrows.
My eyebrow talks too much. Yeah. What about you?
I was like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Messy.
Yeah. Whatever.
That's what I thought. Okay, number 3. You are walking through the mall and someone stops right in front of you.
Yep.
Ready? And camera is that person. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Bombastic side eye.
No, because
Yeah.
it's like, why would you just do that? Like,
Go to the
Because you
side.
hate yourself.
Go to
The
the
answer's
side.
clear.
no, honestly, like
You wanna
the
get run
survival,
over.
the survival ability of some people in the world, especially like when you go into like a CBD area when people are just minding their business. Yes, I guess I get everyone's on their own schedule and stuff, but like, bravo, honestly,
I think
it's
for
not
me,
hard.
well, firstly, you're not on a schedule if you're stopping in the middle of the walkway.
True.
Step to the side, move away. Or, like for me, I always do, whenever I walk past, I deliberately make sure I'm well known. I get really close to walking past them. I go, and then keep on walking.
No, that's
because-
just like just as annoying as when you see a couple just standing like in the middle of a doorway and they're just like hugging to say goodbye and they're standing there for fucking 5 minutes.
Get
like,
out my way.
brother, move,
yeah,
please.
literally. and
Mm.
sister, both of you. The couple.
All of the
Move.
above.
All right, next one we have is your parents tell you to do something that you really don't want to do
Okay, yeah,
as
I
an
got it.
adult.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, ready? 3, 2, 1. It's the eye roll for me.
Yeah. What's that?
Literally, look, I can see the back of my head because it's like, oh my
No,
god.
you know what my one was? It was like the little half smile. It's like, smile.
No.
Yeah, fix your
No,
face.
fix your face.
Yeah,
Literally that, bro.
Bruh.
Because it's like, I don't even want to argue. I just,
Or they'll like roll your eyes before they get stuck. Do it again. Do it again.
Please just.
Undertaker,
stuck.
hit the gong.
Yeah.
gong.
I want them to be stuck.
Okay, and the last one we've got is you and your homies are ready to leave the club. Yeah? The camera's the homie. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
I think we made the same face.
Oh,
I
really?
was like,
It's like, hello. It's time. Yeah, it's giving it's Kiki Palmer like Rose. It's very that. Yeah, it's like
Rose.
that was us last week.
Yeah.
But we didn't even have to look at each other. We just
We
knew it
just
was
said
like
we were
this
on the
was
same
sharp.
wavelength, and we're like, yeah, we want to get off this wave.
Yes,
Let's go.
Yes, that's it.
Mm.
Well, thanks for playing with me. That was a lot of fun. I think honestly, it just reconsolidated that like we've been living with each other for a long, long time.
And we don't even need to have the conversation about like, oh, hey, if
Yep.
we just can kind of sense like if somebody's like kind of stuck in dire straits and they need an out,
Speak of eyes.
we know how to do it.
literally, even when like when someone asks a question and it's usually just a brow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like, or a no is basically also a brow, but
I feel like it's like if you're brown, we either use our eyes or just
or
sounds.
lips, but not even sounds for the lips, like to point.
But it's like express. Oh, it's like when people give you a Mickey, but you know those that are someone that you know. If someone gives you a Mickey, it's like, bro, if you give me a Mickey, I'm gonna smack you because it's like that's how you call the pigs. Literally.
Okay, for our
like how
non-Samoan
you- Yeah,
people, can you
what's a
give an
Mickey?
example? Like, can you give us a?
Make they go like that. That's literally what a Mickey is.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
no.
I don't like how it feels though on my mouth. It makes me. It feels like really tingly, but yeah, no. But usually when they're getting your attention, that's how they call the pigs,
Or it
or
evolved.
they're just getting your attention. But it's just like
Get it, Stella.
Now the other one I
pig.
know. Now the other one I know is the.
Oh.
Yeah.
That one. That's a better one because
I
like
feel more
sometimes.
respectful.
Sometimes you can't like get away with like
Yeah.
the Mickey because you've got dry lips and they're chapped. So then you go,
You're
you
Yeah.
can't like you
it's
box
like
it.
then
Like,
you just look plastic. And
yeah,
it's like,
it's just like. they
but
judge you.
yeah, but it's like do I look like a pig? Don't answer that. Don't answer that.
Get
You-
it, Stella.
Mm,
Where's the
don't
apple?
answer-
Hey,
shut
apple.
your mouth.
Nah, for me it was it wasn't so much eyelingual, but my dad. It was a deep exhale, and you just knew you. I was like, I'm getting my
Well,
ass beat.
I think I think the typical one with my dad would be the like he's annoyed.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, my dad didn't even make sounds other than just. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's the sigh of ancestors, disappointment,
Bruh.
all of that. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm-mm. But yeah, that was rapid fire, folks. Thanks for playing.
Nice. Okay, so
Didn't win, but winning at life.
oh yeah.
Playing the long game.
Yeah. So now we're gonna get into brown talk. So yeah, basically gonna talk some about taboos and positives of our culture, and I think there's a lot we can discuss about this. I'll start off first. I think a taboo would definitely be mental health in our culture.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Which I think there's a lot of layers to that. 'Cause I mean, it's like our family, the older generation, they weren't taught about mental health, but it's like I see the sacrifices, my family have made is and stuff. It's just kind of like, you're always taught to harden up and stuff, whereas I feel like our generation, more so now, it's like to speak up is power and stuff, but then it's finding the fine lines between like, okay, respectfully harden up.
Yeah.
Like just that fine line. But yeah, I think mental health is very taboo in our cultures, especially with men. I feel a lot as well. Yeah. So any extra thoughts on that?
No,
You
I
guys wanna add
completely
to?
agree. I think also it's not just limited to our culture. I think it's pretty much everywhere to an extent, but like I think what people really struggle with is that there's developments in understanding, and especially like for example, our parents' generation, they don't necessarily understand because it's not something that was previously accessible. Um, I think what I was going to say, just to sort of like balance it out, I think something that is really beautiful and about our culture in particular is that the youth are reclaiming it. I find that I'm seeing a lot more younger people who are really proud to be brown, who are embracing the language, who are um, sort of maintaining that bloodline and also sort of respecting that it's no longer just whether or not like you're full blood or like
Yeah.
anything, like we all share the same blood sort of thing, which I think is
Yeah.
really special.
100%. I think like yeah, because like going off of that as well, like which is another thing I would say is definitely has been a bit of a negative. I mean, for me personally, when I speak on this, not speaking for
Yeah.
everyone, but I definitely felt like the term half caste or like in my language like afakasi was always a really negative thing. So I feel like yeah, with that, it was like I always felt such a big connection, but at the same time, a huge disconnection, which is really interesting because, with like Blackfellow with Mob, we have that saying, like, no matter how much milk is in the coffee, it's still coffee and stuff, which I really like. And I think hearing that really healed a part of me and stuff because, yeah, it's like, yeah, look, I can't help that it's my DNA, like,
It's in your
I
DNA.
don't know. I'll tell my parents not to procreate next time. I don't know.
Don't tell them that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just like, I guess along those lines, to be different is a bit of a negative thing, even though like it is quite a positive and stuff. Yeah, once again, a lot of layers to that. But yeah, I think for me growing up, like personally, like definitely a massive taboo was, yeah, like being Afakasi because I felt like I dealt, like my family were always really, my parents were very known for always looking out for a lot of the like the Samoan community with but not even just the Samoan community, the Polynesian community, like when we were kids. But I felt like I was very looked down upon for being Afakasi, which was like crazy because it's like, damn, my parents are the ones that are looking out for y'all and y'all
Yeah.
really hating on the kid. But anyways,
Mm.
yeah, I don't know. I just think like
And it's
it
not like
was
it's a choice.
no, definitely, and
Well, no, it's like that tall poppy crabs in a barrel sort of thing. It's like
yeah.
it's always more times than not. It's always like your own people
Yeah.
that will kind of say stuff.
Yeah,
Generally,
100.
We're all on
Yeah.
the same side, folks.
We all got the same oppressor.
Literally.
But yeah, because I think for me, it was like, I was always like labeled as like the white girl, but
What part of you is white?
but I was never treated as a white person. So it was always like that, yeah,
you're in between.
massive stigma and stuff, whether people want to say it is or isn't. It's just, yeah. But I mean, I do think it is important to know what you're talking
What
about.
about
in the
like with
culture.
your? Because obviously you got siblings. What about like for your sisters? Because they're like fair skinned
Well,
too.
I would say I mean, it was really difficult for me and my older sister for sure. Whereas, like, my younger sister, she definitely looks more like my mom, very fair skin. Whereas
Yeah.
I feel like we look more like our dads. So
Yeah.
with her, it was just kind of like, yeah. But I think with her, she also definitely has acknowledged her own experiences where she does get treated a little bit differently because she has that more fair skin
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's like the way we joke as well. It's kind of like it's not really joking. You're just actually making fun of me.
But like, did you find like your like for like you and like your older sister that you
Mm,
did you guys find moments where you were talking to each other about like these things,
100%.
like when you were growing up and stuff?
We would feel like a bit of a isolation and stuff. Like, and that's the thing. We're loud and proud, like of our cultures. It's a privilege, of course. It's just such a shame that there was those moments where like a bit of like I don't know how to word it, but it definitely made me feel like a bit like a black sheep
Yeah.
and stuff.
Makes
for
you
sure.
question your
It made me,
identity and your
yeah,
existence.
100%. I was a walking identity crisis as a kid, but whereas now I think I am so grateful to be many things and stuff. Like, and I think like what a beautiful blessing to come from, you know, a few different tribes and stuff.
Mm.
Yeah,
Totally.
100%. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's definitely a bit of a taboo. No one really likes to talk about
Mm.
much. And like I said, I purely speak for myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. What about you, bro?
A taboo for our culture. I think our problem for our people is that we use humble, like the word humble and the definition, and we allow that to lower our worth, our self worth, or standard or expectations. We get told to, keep our minds, like our attitude and stuff, humble, so we don't get a big head. So yes, of course, in that context, yes, makes sense. But a lot of times we kind of almost either get kind of just conditioned to apply that same mindset into, like, for example, you see other ethnicities and cultures that, like, they start businesses and create different, like, I don't know whether it's foundations or charities or whatever, like, and you don't really see it. I mean, there definitely is a lot of different charities and organizations and businesses and small businesses that our Polynesian people are making and creating each and every day, but it's nowhere near to the same capacity or level that you see like other cultures. And it's not a competition thing. It's just like, at least from what I saw growing up in Logan, which is like a very heavily like Polynesian populated and multicultural like neighborhood and region. I think that's one thing, because like our people, just like with everyone has the ability to be like, to tap into their own greatness, whatever that is, whether it's creatively, whether it's as a business person, whether it's in communication, whether it's in whatever. And when I see like some of my like my good friends or friends of friends that I know, I see them like, traveling the world, starting their own businesses, performing on world stages, dancing with some of the biggest artists in the world, working with some of the biggest companies in the world and stuff. And I'm just very like grateful that like the people that I've met in my life and I've crossed paths with, they're all like very like hungry to just like carve out their own path, even if it's straying away from what we're kind of normally taught and how we're raised.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
That's very well said.
Mm.
So what about you?
I'm just trying to think of some other taboos. I think for me, it's kind of like what you were saying as well, bro. But like, I find from my experiences, people tear each other down a lot. I think, yeah, like you were saying about that whole idea of humility, but it's not so much just about self-reflection, but it's more so about being like, you're doing the most, like someone else pulling you down a notch. I think, like, especially older generations, I think they've got a very specific way of handling things. And it sometimes clashes with new ideals or new models of, how things can work. And I think it's just, it kind of comes from a place of pride as well. Of like, well, there's a certain way we do things here. Like, that's what we do. This is what we're about. But like, how can we evolve? How can we educate? How can we inform people of our color, our brownness, our very culturally rich experience when it's become quite insular? And to some extent, it's just like, I wish that especially younger people gain more access to be able to share our stories, like kind of like what we're doing today as well, because it's, yes, you can be very proud of yourself without having to keep to yourself necessarily. And like, I guess my parents are a great testament of sharing culture. Same with yours as well, and yours. Like, we've all got different experiences, and like being able to share is super important because it allows us to understand. And I think there's just, when it comes to like people tearing each other down, it comes from a place of ignorance.
It comes from like ignorance, but it also comes from like from those people that are doing those things, trying to tear them down. Those are the people that are like stuck at the edge of the cliff and they never jumped. So it's like they didn't have the faith or the trust in themselves or whatever it may be for them to actually pull the trigger and go, I'm going to start this business, or I'm going to quit my job and
Yeah.
do
Totally.
this, you know. So when they see somebody else that they know doing it, it's like there's this like saying, it's like everyone wants to see you doing good but never better than them.
That's
Yeah,
right.
So it's
for
kind
real.
of like that, and it can hit a lot harder when it's like your parents, your
Yeah.
siblings, your family,
Yeah,
your
the people
friends.
that you would
I think
trust.
I
Yeah.
think a lot of that might also like stem from, you know, the fact that the older generation like came from a lot more hardships than we would have, especially like, you know, my dad coming from like that, you know, the motherland himself,
Yeah,
like, you know, seeing his upbringing, and, you know, it's like, yeah, obviously I do understand. I have a certain sense of, you know, a massive privilege in my upbringing and stuff. So I think when it's like a lot of the older generation, it becomes like a sense of hunger because they came from a lot of like, you know, nothing as well and stuff. But yeah, just a bit of food for thought.
100%. What
Yeah.
about some positives? Let's lighten the mood.
Yes.
I already gave one.
I would say I love the thing that our cultures share in common is just how much we value family.
yeah,
I think that's a massive thing. Like, yeah, like that. You know, family is everything, and, you know, no matter if you don't see eye to eye, we're family, and we work things out as family for sure.
no, for sure. I think for me, well, there's a few, but like kind of going off of what you just said is like for us, like I think that our people, we're very like passionate. So like we work hard, we play hard, and we love hard. So like if you're out, like if you're bringing your friend from school over, now they're our niece, nephew, whoever,
That's it.
you know, our daughter, our son, or whatever. So we look after them.
Yeah.
I think another thing as well is that like we just have such big hearts, and we're very proud people.
Yeah.
Like whether you are in tune and know all of the inner workings of your like your genealogy and your like family tree and your culture or not, like regardless, like for me, like anytime when I was growing, because I was born and raised here in Australia, but would go back to New Zealand often. But anytime I would see like a performance, like a kapaka performance, or any of my family performing on stage or anything like that, or even just watching the All Blacks game when they do the haka, like it hits different because it's like it's literally like it's not even just a spiritual thing. It's like it literally like alters, it taps into your DNA and to a level that like you can't really explain to people that aren't of the culture.
It's like
Your
the
dinner.
mana.
Your
The
dinner.
mana.
You know
Oh,
what I
the
mean? So
mana,
like
yeah.
it's, I feel like for us it's, yeah, we just have such big hearts and we're a proud
Yeah.
people. And for us, one thing I'd like to see even more of is more of us just willing to, you know, take that risk, just go for it, and just, you know, if it doesn't work out, like, yes, I know we're great at being like laborers, scaffolders, and picking and packing. I mean, damn, I did that too. But at the same time, it's just like we're not built and designed just to lift and move heavy
Nah.
stuff.
Yeah.
We are so much greater than what we
Yeah,
allow
Yeah.
ourselves
that's
to be.
right.
No, beautifully said.
I think the last one for me is that like we're very blessed to be very spiritual people as well. Whether or not you necessarily believe in all the heebie-jeebie stuff, I think it's just ingrained in us that like there is a bigger force. Like whether it's like you were saying the mana or like, you know, just even the earth, connectivity to the earth is so important. And I think that's something that is quite unique, but I'm very proud that we still celebrate that aspect of our culture. I think it's the one thing that sort of recenters.
That's actually
Yeah.
something that like brings up a good point now that we're talking about this stuff. The one thing I do, and I've never lived in New Zealand and I've never gone to school. Like I did kohanga when I was like a youngin, but that's it. But one thing I really admire about, at least with New Zealand, and I don't know currently right now in 2026 whether this is still happening, but I knew back in the day or even in recent times, they make learning te reo like part of the school curriculum. Whereas like
Beautiful.
here in Australia, that's not even, you're learning Japanese, German, French, and all these other languages and stuff, but you're not even getting an opportunity to actually learn the language of the indigenous people here in Australia.
I
which
mean,
is,
it's taking years for them just to start incorporating that in schools
Yeah.
more and stuff. Like, yeah, because I mean, like my school I grew up in, we definitely, like, because we had like a whole program and stuff, which is like That should be everywhere.
Yeah, because I mean, when I was in
Like-
school, I didn't have it, like any of that stuff. And we had
Yeah.
like, we had indigenous
But
students
yeah,
and stuff
it just
as well.
shows how backwards the system
Yeah.
is to, the indigenous people of
Well,
like
remember
my
as
people
well,
here.
like it was banned for a long period of time
Exactly.
as well. So it's come a long way, but it's
Yep.
still slow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But
And
Long
here's
way.
the taking up space. Mhm.
Yes, and
And
destined for
holding
greatness.
space. Period.
100%.
Well said. All right.
All right, cool. Now we're going to move on to the stew. And today's prompt or question is, when does the dancer become the teacher, or what qualifies the dancer to then become a teacher? I guess in your case, just like as like someone that's still training
Yep.
and early in their journey and stuff. Whereas myself and Aki, we regularly teach and train dancers and stuff. What are like some traits that you look for in a good teacher that would make you want to come
Yeah.
back and learn from them again?
Oh, I mean, being specifically like an Afro dancer for sure, but I feel like this applies with any style you teach. Knowing what you're teaching, but in the sense that like the history, like being educated in what you're teaching
Yeah.
and stuff, because it's like ballroom that comes from a lot of history. That's like Afro, it comes from a lot of culture. Even hip hop, black culture, etc.
Yep.
I think like I feel really like it's really discouraging when I come across a teacher that is just teaching to, I guess, to like to sell rather than to teach. Like, yeah, you can really tell the difference. But yeah, I think like that would be my main thing, just like knowing your stuff genuinely. But otherwise, what are you doing and why are you doing it
Yeah.
and stuff. But also I think the nicest thing is seeing a teacher that is actually really happy to be there and is like, loves to share and stuff. And yeah, so I'd say those points is as a student.
No, that's good, because I mean, yeah, energy is contagious. So if the teacher's
100%.
walking into the room flat, because they've had a rough day or whatever's going on,
Yeah.
then of course the students are going to pick up on that and then give them
Yeah.
the same thing back.
100%.
So
Mhm.
what about for yourself, bro? Obviously, as like somebody
Yeah.
that's running the ballroom community here.
Teaching for a minute now, but I would say there's a few technical aspects, obviously. Firstly, really being able to articulate music, because the body becomes the instrument, and like being able to really concisely understand and interpret and convey what your body is responding to musically is something that I think quite a few teachers struggle to do, because a few people, I would say every teacher should try and learn to pick an instrument at some point in their life, because it really allows them to understand the music differently. I think in saying that as well, being able to understand and explain music, the same goes for the body as well, because not every student is going to understand what you're saying or being able to translate that into their own movement. So being able to adapt and pay attention to whether or not it's working for them, and adapting is super important. I think that was like 4 points in one, really. But those are some really just like clear things that I see some students or dancers who want to try and teach miss. I think the dancer also becomes the teacher when they've completed a combo or whatever they've taught, when they step aside and they recognize that they're no longer there's no hierarchy between them and their students, and they become performers as one. I think that's something that's really important, because yes, your students are embodying your movement, but it's not giving Nicole and the Pussycat Dolls. It's like they're not your backup dancers.
They're not there to glorify.
There's this balance of you supporting them and them supporting you, especially when it comes to performance. Yeah.
Nice.
There's a few more, but let my brain cook.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
let
We
him
can bounce
cook.
back and
Yeah.
forth and
Yep.
stuff. I think for myself, I got like a list, but like one of the things, I think the first thing which is most important is, if you want to become a teacher, or dance teacher, I should say, whether it's as a choreographer, teaching classes teaching dance classes at a studio, teaching at a school, teaching, I don't know, whatever. I mean, for myself, like, I've been in every kind of possible teaching environment, and I've taught for such a long time. So I think the first tip is you need to be a great student in order to be even considered a teacher.
Well said.
I think the other thing as well is that, like, if you're coming in and wanting to learn to dance and with the intention of eventually you want to teach, like later down the track, you have to be able to listen and learn more than you would talk and do, more than you talk and dance even as well. I think the third one, which is the most important thing, which I feel is just lacking in general, just like not even just in Adelaide, but I just mean like just everywhere, is that I don't really see, like I used to back in the day, or even in my gen of coming up in the game, where like you have dancers that have a good mentor that's actually pouring into this select group of people to build them up to then, you know, kind of take over the reins in the future and stuff. I was very fortunate that like my mentors that I mentioned in the last episode, they put me through the paces and they made me earn my stripes and pay my dues by, you know, I obviously started as a student and learning from them. Then they would like get me to eventually assist with their classes. They would give me the choreography and then I'd have to try to teach it back to them. And one of like the ultimate gems, if I can give this now, whether people know this or not, for any aspiring teachers or current teachers, is the best two things. The best compliment you can ever get is that like you can watch your student do it and they've actually been able to apply and absorb and retain not just the moves to the music, but you can see they're actually embodying the details and the foundation. They're able to apply things. The second thing I think as well, which is really, really important when you have a mentor, is that for the student to become a teacher, you have to be open to taking criticism. You can't just be like, oh, I don't like that, so now I'm going to run off and do my own thing. Because if you try to cut corners and just kind of like shortcut your way to the top, like you're going to get exposed when you're dancing next to teachers that have been taught
but
the
also
correct
like
way.
going off of that, it's kind of like I feel like just never lose your humility and stuff, because it's like criticism, it's like you would rather be told in the space than make yourself look like an idiot outside, because it's like if you can't, like, and this is just like just straight up, like if you can't handle it in a little classroom setting, and that's the thing, there's a difference between criticism and then just like hatefulness. There's a huge difference, obviously. But if you can't handle it like now, the real world is just gonna crush you straight up, honestly. And that is just saying this from a place of love.
It's just you've got to remove all ego, and like Aki kind of touched on just before, it's like just understand that like teaching is not about you or your ego or putting yourself up on a pedestal. Even if you're standing on a stage in front of 500 students, or even if you're overseas teaching internationally or whatever, your job as a teacher is to be of service of the students that are in that room, and for you to impart as much knowledge that as possible that they can retain within that class. And then hopefully, you know, you can kind of pass on the knowledge, and that we can kind of continue these traditions so that the general standard of the dance community and the teaching quality maintains, and not just maintains, but it elevates over
Well
time.
said. Said.
That's right. I mean, like, I'll never forget when, this was a while ago, back in the day. Was teaching this one girl. Her name's Matilda, and she originally was a ballet student, and it wasn't clicking for her for some reason. I think it was just because, you know, she was very prim and proper, and we were training Vogue Femme, and then like out of nowhere she was just suddenly going for it, and I would just look at her and I'd be like, where did this come from? And it's quite special when someone manages to take the student manages to take the teachings outside of the class, reapply it to themselves in a way that it's beyond movement and like embodiment. It becomes the focus. And so seeing her just go for it, I was just like, oh my God, this is what it's about. Yeah. Or beautiful. Like, you know, when the students come to you as well and they're like, like, oh, thank you so much for doing XYZ, or like this has
Yeah.
really helped me outside of the studio or
Yeah.
outside of training. Like those are that's how you sort of know that you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
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 Cool.
And I think one thing as well, like what I've noticed, like as well, I think some people are rushing, like could try to quickly stop being a student, but I
Yeah.
feel like, you know, we're all learners no matter
That's-
where you're at in life. And I feel like you just know, I mean, I can't speak from experience because I'm obviously not a teacher, but like, I think, yeah, you know, when you get to that point, but I think I've noticed with some people, yeah, they rush being a teacher, but it's like, you know, just don't rush that process. I think it's a privilege to be a student and just to learn and
100%,
absorb,
yeah.
honestly.
And I
Oh,
think-
and go back and forth too.
100%. Oh, yeah, 100%. It's
and
like,
even with that stuff, like I'm of the the way that I came into the game as a teacher and stuff was obviously a student, then I assisted, and then like my mentors would constantly give me feedback after each class, or they would like watch back the footage, or they would like watch even while I'm teaching. You know, I've taught in like primary schools, high schools, special needs schools. Like I've taught, you know, people all up and down the spectrum, verbal, non-verbal, you know, hearing impaired, everything and anything, and any, like out in a sports oval, inside a classroom, outside, in a sports hall, everywhere and anywhere possible. And I feel like a lot of people just want to skip kind of, not that that's a bad thing, because for some dancers, they aspire to just work in schools or just work in a studio. But a lot of people, because of what you see on social media, is like you said, they just want to jump the gun and go from, I've been taking classes for a while, one of my videos went viral, or the choreographer reposted me, now I feel like I'm ready to teach, and I don't even have any life experience under my belt, let alone any teaching experience, let alone I'm going from never teaching a class to, like, or any teaching experience at all, to now I'm going to skip all the like not so fun ideal stuff in the big
hard
picture,
work.
but hey,
to then
nothing's-
just go to
Yeah.
teach a packed out class, and
well,
they can't
it's
teach.
like that saying, it's simple, nothing's ever handed to us.
No.
You gotta earn it.
So real quick, just some like dot points, Spitfire. What are some ways that a dancer who's eager to become a teacher, what are some things that they should be looking to do to get there?
Educate yourself. Google's free, and I don't mean that in a sarcastic way, but it's like we have such a privilege where everything is so accessible. So you just, literally do your research, educate, take your time.
Yeah. For me, I was going to say start small. Like you don't need to do the most. You don't need to profit. I would say if you really wanted to think of anything, just ask for a few friends or like, you know, some peers to be like, hey, I wanted to experiment with XYZ. Could you like, would you be down to join?
Yeah.
Can you give me some feedback? Not only in terms of the choreo or whatever it is, but also like how you teach.
Yeah.
Because it's insightful and
Yeah,
you get to make, you don't want to look stupid when you do it like for real.
And you don't want to think you're killing it, and then everyone's like, "Yeah, that was great," and then you're like, "Bro,
You're
that was
killing
trash."
it,
'Cause
literally.
I just wasted
You're
3 hours of my
murdering
life.
it.
It's like, don't ever invite me again. you
It's
know?
already dead.
Yeah, you killing it, I. You murdering.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's just be a great student. Make sure you're listening and learning. Like, take as many classes, whether it's, I mean, again, we've got so many resources. Like, I got friends and family that like have dance crews that are like over in, like, for example, Papua New Guinea. Like they went from dancing on just straight concrete with no space, no warehouse, no cover, to now, you know, 8 years later or however many years later, now the boys have won HHR Worlds, which is like the biggest hip hop dance crew comp in the world. They've won it 2 years in a row back to back. Shout out to the brother Pian and One Squad. But
Get it, boys.
yeah, again, just like take advantage of any resources that you have, whether it's in person in the studio, whether it's online. I mean, like if you have access to to the internet, if you don't, go to a Macca's, use their free Wi-Fi, go to like I don't know. Like if you really want it that bad, you'll figure it out and make it work.
100%.
And then just make sure, lastly, just make sure your mentor isn't just a good mentor because they're a good dancer. You want to make sure they're a good mentor because they're going to hit you with that real. They're going to be straight up and tell you like that was bad, or they're going to check you
Yeah.
and you're not going to like it, but
You got to take the blows.
you're going to learn
Like
to
you
take
said,
that
less ego.
so that you know how to come back better from it. Yeah.
Pearls of wisdom.
Yeah.
Wow. Well said. Well said. Well, we learned a lot today. Yep. I think at the end of the day, it is clear that the bottom line is like, just go for it. Yeah. You know,
Also,
like, yeah.
yeah.
We're, like I said before, we're all destined for greatness today and tomorrow and the day after that. So I hope you guys have a great week ahead of you. This is the Three Wise Cousins signing out. Deuces.
Deuces.